Students, friends, faculty, staff, I am here with a very special guest, someone that I've known over many years and is crushing it in the world. But we have today Kendall Pozulp with us. Kendall, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you? I'm happy to be here.
I'm super good, thanks. Super appreciate your time, and I'm ready to dig in and get excited about the career you're going for, your story of where you're at and where you're headed, just to learn a little bit more about your career path and everything else. So ready to get into it. So Kendall, before we get into the whole story of how you got to where you're at, like what is your main goal that you're just about there and working towards as far as a career? What is it that you're doing?
Yeah, so I'm on the path of becoming a registered dietitian, and my end goal is to become a sports dietitian. So to get that CSSD behind my name, so certified specialist in sports dietetics. So that's the all-time goal.
Awesome. So, and this kind of leads me to my natural question, because I am super ignorant to the world of nutrition in that. Are there different specialty areas once you get into the world of nutrition and dietitians in that? Can you specialize in sports and versus something else?
Yes, you could do sports, you could do bariatric surgery, you could do diabetes, and then I think there is something new with eating disorders. So there's definitely a lot of different paths that you can go on as become a dietitian. So, but it's awesome.
Oh, yeah, that's super cool. So if you're interested in this world, but also the fact like you maybe love sports, that's cool. You can kind of intermingle those two.
Yes, 100%.
Awesome. Cool, cool, cool. Okay. And again, before we get in the path of how you're getting there, because I'm excited to hear about that and how you end up getting to this role. So once you become certified in that, what would be some of the jobs or skills you would be using and doing at that job to, I'm assuming you're helping athletes for maybe specific teams, or what does that look like? What are you planning to do?
So I can kind of explain what I did when I was working with the Chicago Bulls, kind of like what I was doing there. So I was managing the fuel station. So I was making their smoothies, their supplements, making sure they took any shots that they need to take, like collagen shots and such. I was working with the multidisciplinary team. So working with the athletic trainers, the strength trainers, strength coaches, the psychologists, personal development coaches. And then at the time we had gotten a chef dietitian as well. So that was a nice add-on to our team. But I was also sending out nutrition tips for the players when they were on the go. I created like an Excel spreadsheet that had healthier DoorDash options. So just really being there for the team and making sure they get what they need. I created goodie bags for them on the way for their away games because I didn't go with them for their away games. But it was definitely an experience, and I love that like positive environment. That's what like I just want in my future. I don't want to, for me, I just don't really want to be in a hospital. And I think sports dietetics is definitely where I'm supposed to be at. So, yeah.
That's awesome. So is this something that you feel is like, was the team, the Bulls, like, did everybody have kind of similar health goals, or did some players have like they needed more protein? Some players, they're working on an injury, so they needed something else. Was it specific? Was it
Yes, super specific. Yes. Very individualized. We had rookies that didn't really know much about nutrition. So just like we had set, I don't know if we did this for sure, but the dietitian at the time that was mentoring me, she had asked me if he ever wanted to go on like a grocery shop tour, kind of just to like give him a sense of like what to actually buy at the grocery store and make it like not stressful. And then we also offered like the chef dietitian at the time had offered any cooking classes. So making simpler recipes in the kitchen. But we did have athletes that were injured at the time. And then we had like protocols for them, like making sure they took these certain specific supplements to, better their injury or whatever they were going through. So yeah, super individualized for sure.
Wow, that is fascinating. I mean, it makes so much sense though, right? If you're growing up and your whole life is about getting better at the sport, you may never taken the time to educate yourself on like, how can I get even better through my health, like eating better and getting stronger, quicker recovery. So you guys literally focus on that to help a platform for them to be even better and stronger.
100%.
Wow.
Yep.
Super cool. Well, that sounds super rewarding. I would have loved to have known about that prior to going to college. That sounds like a really cool job. So, and now, is this part of an internship you said? Is that something, and I know we'll get into kind of the path in schooling, but is that pretty typical when you're getting into this? You want to get experience in different fields?
Yeah, so I actually started with them like in person in my first year master's program. But yeah, definitely to like if you want something, you got to like get experience before you actually like really get into the depth of it. So I always say like just reach out to as many people as you can to get that experience, because volunteer and intern opportunity experiences like are so beneficial, and you learn so much more than you actually like know that you would, you know?
Ah, yeah, experience is the number one teacher, hands down. So that's great.
Yes.
Okay, so flashback quite a few years ago. I just knew you as a wonderful human that I got to see daily as a physics student, right? It was physics, right?
Physics, senior year.
Woo! All
Yes.
right. So, physics student, tell me about like from the high school transition to college, your mindset. Was this what you wanted to get into? Eventually getting to, like what did you have to do to get there? You mentioned that you're in the master's program. So, this is more than just a 4-year degree. Kind of walk us through that and what you were thinking. So, we'd love to just hear about your journey.
Yeah, sure. So I was actually a figure skater for most of my life. So I skated from like the age of 8 till about 17. And towards the end, I got a lot of injuries. And I decided to stop and kind of it was my senior year of high school. And I want to get a little bit more high school experience, because it was literally school, skating, dinner, go to bed. Like it was just this constant cycle. So I decided to stop, and then I did track and field at Sandberg. So I kind of got that experience. So that was that. And then I went, yeah. So I was actually, what was I doing? I was working out at Lifetime Fitness and with my stepmom, and she had asked me, she's like, hey, do you want to sit on this session with this dietitian? And I was like, yes. I've always had this fascination in nutrition and with sport, especially because I definitely did not fuel myself as much as I should have, in skating and then in track and field as well. So that's where it kind of really came into fruition for me. And I started looking for schools, and I found Benedictine University, which is like 30 minutes from Sandberg. And they have a DPD program, which it stands for Didactic Program in Dietetics. And they just help you with the knowledge and give you those skills. And you have to take required classes to then pass your undergrad. But yeah, it was awesome. I definitely took some hard classes like organic chemistry, biochemistry, anatomy, physiology. It was crazy. But then I got to take some fun classes as well, like cultural food science lab, nutrition counseling, and then medical nutrition therapy. So many fun classes. So yeah, then it came a few years later, my senior year, it was October, and I learned that I need to be matched to a dietetic internship in order to become a dietitian. So I went to one of my nutrition clubs, and they were like, have you guys ever heard of All Access Dietetics? And I was like, no, but I want to check them out. So it's this website that pretty much helps you become a dietitian. They have all the tools for you. So I go on the website and I see 15 free-minute call with Jenny Westerkamp, the owner of the company. And I was like, why not? I need to like figure out like if I'm going to be matched to a program. So I'm so nervous to get on this call. I don't know why I was so nervous, but I get on the call and she's like, hey, Kendall, how are you? Like, do you know so-and-so? And I was like, that's my cousin. She's like, that's one of my best friends. And I was like, what? That's such a small world. Like, the world is so small and it's just crazy. So from there on, they helped me with my resume, personal statement, and then they helped me feel confident for any interviews that I had for any of the programs that I was applying to. And they just helped me really feel confident to be matched to my dream school, right? So a few months later, 5 months later, on top of all that, I was also taking 19 credit hours. And then Jenny had actually reached back out to me, the owner of the company that I met with. And she was like, hey, do you want to do some volunteer work with me for the Chicago Bulls? Because she was a dietitian at the time. And I was like, yes, give me all the volunteer experience and exposure. I just need it all. So I was pretty much just helping them on the go. When they were at different hotels, I was figuring out like what they were eating, like the menu and stuff like that. So that was really good experience. I got matched to Loyola University of Chicago in April, and I got matched to their master's and internship combined program. So it's a 22-month program. And I started in August of 2021, where I would just, for the first year, I had just classes. So she reached out to me again, Jenny, and she was like, do you want to be the nutrition intern and actually come in and be there for practices and home games? And I was like, yes, like, oh my gosh, this is just crazy. Like how it's just rolling, So pretty much how my day would be is I would work with the Bulls from like 8 to 2, and then I would head on over to campus and have class from like 5 to 8, 6 to 9. So it really worked out great with my schedule. And then their season ended in May of 2022. And then it was perfect because I need to start my internship portion of the program.
Okay.
So what the internship is 1,200 hours of supervised practice hours where you're unpaid. And unfortunately, we're trying to figure that out still. Like if, future dietetic interns, they should get paid because we work so hard. But you kind of get to dip your toes into each little thing because there's so many things you could do with dietetics. It's actually insane. Like if you don't want to work in hospital, there's something else for you, marketing, like anything. So I started off in food service where I got to work at a hospital in the kitchen for about 6 weeks. And then I headed on over to a long-term care facility, which I worked with medically complex patients. And I did a lot of tube feeding calculations for them. So that really set me up for success because I was only there for a week and I learned so much in that short week. But I started in my clinical rotation where I worked with even more intense tube feeding calculations, not only working with dietitians, but working with occupational therapists, nurses, doctors, and such. And I was there for 4 months. So you're kind of like at these different sites, right? And then right now I'm in my community rotation where I am now at all different sites. I'm at like 4 or 5 different sites. I'm at a high school working with high school students. I'm at a WIC clinic, which stands for Woman, Infant, and Children. And then I'm at a Head Start program. And then also, it's just crazy how this ended up. I'm now working again for the Chicago Bulls, and I'm in the kitchen now with the chef dietitian there. So I'm getting to see that like food service and all that stuff, making their breakfasts and their lunches. And it's been really great. And I graduate in May. So I've been doing a lot, staying busy for sure.
Oh, that's incredible. I mean, first of all, the fact that you said yes to a lot of things, right? Like first back at Lifetime Fitness, yeah, check out the session, and then reaching out and saying, yeah, if any way you can help me or that, being open to it, trying just leads to more doors. So congrats. I love that.
Thank you.
Super curious about, you said there's so many little different things. When you're working like with a high school setting, what role does a dietitian play like in that? Is there anything specific you did that was surprising or just like, oh yeah, this makes sense?
Yeah, so I just started there actually. So I've only been there twice and I'm only there 4 times out of the semester. I kind of wish I was there more because it's kind of crazy. So Loyola, they got this like grant for Proviso East High School. It's in like Maywood, I think it's in, yeah. Yep. And I am working with a dietitian there. And it's like we're not like a part of the school, but we're like we're pretty much a part of Loyola. So there's definitely some bumps in the road, and the dietitian just started there recently, but pretty much what I'm doing, I'm going to be working in a health fair, I think this upcoming middle March. And I'm going to be just sharing like fueling for performance to these high schoolers. Cause I feel like high schoolers, they need a little bit more fun in nutrition. And I feel like involving some type of sport is kind of fun for them. So I'm making like simple handouts just on like the basic macronutrients. So like carbs, protein, fats, and just making it fun for them and making them just get a little bit of something they can pull away from my poster presentation that I'm going to be presenting. So yeah, I haven't done much yet, but it's been fun. Yes.
I was just curious if high schools ever hire dietitians to help with like their cafeteria food to make better options or fresher options. I have no idea. I've never been behind the scenes. So that's super cool. Again, all I keep hearing and seeing is so many different options in places. Seriously. I mean, health and wellness and plug into everything, every part of the life. So that's super cool.
Yeah.
All right. So you're graduating in May. And then from there, like what happens next? Do you start applying for jobs? Do you look for more internships? Just curious, like what those next steps are, and obviously probably some unknowns, but just curious.
Definitely some unknowns for sure, but I plan to take the exam this summer. So it's the registered dietitian exam. Definitely have to prepare very well for that, but I have something set up. It's in the works, and I do have an interview today with some team. So I would say I would just say like towards the end of like a program that you're in, like on LinkedIn, I think there's an option where you can like say like ready to work, and I would just start applying. Like people can hire you with, I don't know if this is for sure, but people could hire you without having that credential or like licensure yet. And then you can like study for the exam and then like still be within that job and they'll still hire you, but I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, just like putting yourself out there and applying to as many places as you can, I would say.
Awesome. I think in
Yeah.
teaching too, we call that, like, sometimes we bring people from the industry and they're under a provisional license,
Yes.
meaning they're going to be certified soon, but under the experiences you've had, you're still qualified, and it's just the time. So that's super exciting. Best of luck with any
Thank
interviews
you.
and that go
Thank you.
down. That's wonderful. So love, I appreciate you walking through the steps. I also think from all of your little experiences, you've really highlighted all the different places that dietitians can fall into, and there's probably still so many more. Through
Yes.
this through this journey you've been going through from high school to now and what's to come, any ideas, tips, strategies, suggestions for anybody that might be listening now that you feel might help them or give them a little bit of an edge or advantage?
Yeah, I have so many tips. Oh my gosh. Okay. So
Lay it
I
out.
would say, yes, I would definitely say stay positive and persistent. Like work hard. Your hard work will pay off. It might kind of suck right now, but it is going to pay off and it's going to be so worth it. And I would definitely say, like I'd mentioned earlier, like volunteer and intern as much as you can. It like you will learn is way more than you think you would learn. And it's just amazing. And you kind of get to build your resume. It's like that comes a part of it. And then I would say building those connections, not only in those volunteer and intern opportunities, but just in daily life. Like building connections is so great. It's just fantastic. And then I would say like networking, you know, LinkedIn, like Mr. J had reached out to me on LinkedIn, Instagram, emailing. Just if you want to be, let's just say an athletic trainer, like go and find those athletic trainers and talk to them. They want to hear you and they want to share their stories. And I think it's so amazing. Like just talk to people. It's just, don't be nervous. Like, yes, you'll be a little nervous at first, but it will be so beneficial because it can lead you on so many different paths. And I just for my story, it's been crazy. So
Oh, well, the way you speak about what you're doing and your experiences, I mean, you can see your genuine, authentic joy, your passion towards it. So, I mean, just listening to your story makes me excited for you. You've obviously found your niche, your
yes.
purpose, your why. So we're all cheering you on and excited to see what goes down. But I appreciate you mentioning the power of staying positive and persistent. Not everybody does that, so you do rise to the top. I agree when you stay that way. And then the power of networking. Like you said, you never know when you reach out, you know someone who knows someone. It opens a small window of an
Exactly.
opportunity that you can jump on. So
Yes.
well said. Well, Kendall, I really appreciate you coming back and supporting your Eagles and that. And I know that other people watch these too, not just our Sandberg students. So thanks for sharing your story and helping us all get a little bit better than we were yesterday. Thank you for your
Yes.
time.
Yes, no problem. Thank you so much for having me.